Okay, so we just entered Adar, and this year we have double open. Yesterday was Rosh Chodesh, and we enter into the best month from certain aspects in the Jewish calendar. I think everyone knows the phrase "Mishenichnas Adar marbim b'simcha." When Adar entered, it's a reason for joy, for simcha, for happiness. Let me give you the real source, and you'll see that it's bigger than we think. It's actually not mentioned in the Talmud, in Masechet Megillah, which the place where all the Purim stuff discussed. It's mentioned in just the opposite place, in Masechet in the Talmud called Masechet Ta'anit. Masechet Ta'anit is fasting for usually or sometimes because of not too happy things. So the famous fast that we have about mourning is Tisha B'Av. We have a 6 fast days during the year, right? 4 of them connected to the destruction and the exile. It's Tisha B'Av, it's Asara B'Tevet, Yud Zayin B'Tammuz, and Tzom Gedalia. Tisha B'Av is the main one. We have another 2 fasts day during the year, but they're not connected to the destruction. One of them is the famous Yom Kippur. It's not for mourning or something like this. And the other one is right before Purim. We have a fast of Esther, which is also it's for a good thing. It's not for mourning or something like this. So the source of we have to increase our happiness, our joy in Adar is mentioned in the Talmud in Masechet Ta'anit. Let me show you the quote. Here's the quote. I'm sorry that the entire presentation, I will translate everything, but I don't have it in English. In other presentation, I have some sources of English, but if you're familiar, I don't know how everyone does it in Hebrew, not really. So I'll translate, but I'll show it to those who could benefit from it. Okay, there is a Mishnah in Masechet Ta'anit, and the Mishnah says the following: Mishenichnas Av mema'atim b'simcha. So this is the thing that's mentioned in the Mishnah. The Mishnah relate to the other month, not the most not happy month in the Jewish calendar, which is Chodesh Av, the month of Av. And the Mishnah says that Tisha B'Av is in the 9th day of the month, but from the beginning of the month, from Rosh Chodesh Av, you have to decrease your happiness until the day which is Tisha B'Av. So on this Mishnah, the Gemara says in Masechet Ta'anit, Amar Rav Yehuda B'rei Rav Shmuel bar Shilat, Mishmei de Rav, כשם שמשנכנס אדר ממעטים בשמחה, כך משנכנס אדר מרבים בשמחה. So the Gemara bring on the fact that Av, Chodesh Av, the month of Av, is a sad month for us because it was the destruction of both the first temple and the second temple, and we went to exile. That's not the good one, not the good month. So the Gemara compare it to the other month, which is the happy, just the opposite of it, which is Adar. So Adar is just the opposite of Av. Remember this. Adar and Av are 2 opposites. Therefore, like when the month of Av arrived, the first day is the first day of the decreasing of the happiness. Same way, just the opposite in Adar. Adar is a very happy month for us because let me remind you what happened in Adar. Sometimes because we so crazy in Purim, drinking and doing all this fun stuff, we forgot what wasn't the stake. It was a decree on the entire Jewish nation, signed by the United Nations at the time. Right? The King Ahasuerus was ruling the entire world, and all the Jews that were spread in exile, or on all 127 states, countries, places, whatever, was under his rulership. And he signed it because Haman requested for him, and he signed it that in one day the entire nation will be eliminated. Think about it. You know what, to just make it more real, We all remember or know about the World War II, right? So the Nazis, יימח שמם וזכרם, they have this idea, same idea, להשמיד, להרוג ולאבד את כל היהודים. Same idea of Haman that mentioned in the Megillat Esther. But they did it during 6 years, and they succeeded, unfortunately, to kill 1/3 of the Jewish nation. When we're talking about Purim, we're talking about one day. The entire nation all over the world. That was at stake, and this is the great miracle. Because if, chas v'shalom, this idea of Haman was successful, then no more Jews in the world. So this is the most happy day, the most happy month that we have, because the entire nation, it was just a turnover, v'nahafochu. It's not just that we survived, but we killed all the anti-Semites that waited for the time to kill us. That was the event of Adar, of Purim, which is in Chodesh Adar. Now, let me just go deeper. What do you mean, increase the happiness? Anyone has a button in the body that you know you just push it and become more happy, more happy, more happy? How it works? So in order to understand that, we have to analyze what happiness is. What, in general, what causes people to be happy? And this is a very interesting thing. The bottom line of it, if you look, I'm talking about the Torah point of view, which for us, it's not just another point of view of someone, of a philosophy. Remember that we, the Jews, believe that God appeared and talked to not just the Jews believe in this, Christians also believe in this, that we are the only nation that got a meeting with God, the entire nation, the revelation at Sinai. There is only one nation all over during the history that the entire nation got the message from God, panim befanim, Hashem talked to us face to face, right? So when we're talking about the Torah opinion about things, we're not talking about, some idea of any smart philosopher that used to live here and there and he has a philosophy. We're talking about the absolute truth revealed by God himself about, this is the Torah, this is the meaning of the word Torah. Torah means instructions, directions, what's right, what's wrong. It's not, about going by the fashion or what people think today and what they think today they're not thinking tomorrow. We're talking about absolute values, right? So let's just now learn a little bit about what the Torah teaches us about happiness. We all know that happiness is very, very important need of a human being. People want to be happy. Unfortunately, if you make a statistics, how many people are happy and for how long, you'll find out the vast majority could count the time during their life that they were really happy. So it's just beneficial by itself to learn what happiness is and how to, and here we have a mitzvah to increase it, meaning there are also methods how to do it. So what causes a person happiness? Happiness, the bottom line of it, is a consequence of perfection. This is it. When you feel complete, the outcome of it, the must outcome of it, it's just an impact of it. It's caused you happiness. When you're not happy, it means that something is missing. And because, as we mentioned before, people want to be happy, but unfortunately, it's rare to be happy for a long time and feel real happiness. The meaning of this, that people do not know who they are. And here's the philosophy of the Torah. When Hashem created Adam, when God created Adam, it says that Adam is a combination of two elements. Dust from earth and a soul. The dust from earth is build our body. So our body is material. But there is another mysterious thing called soul. And it's at least 150, at least 50% of what we are. If we do not know what is a soul, and many people in the entire world do not know that there is a soul altogether, and those who heard that there is such a thing have no clue what that means. Well, what is it? But if it's 50% of myself, I should better know about it. And if I ignore it or do not know about it, it means, first of all, that I'm leaving only 50% from my potential. If they are equal, they are not. The soul is has much more weight than the body. The body is just a vehicle. The soul is the driver. So you better know the driver. You could be a technician. You know, fix the tire, fix here, fix there, fix the engine. But if you will have even the best car, but no driver, or if the driver is sleeping all of the time, he never drive the car, so how he will be happy? So the key is to understand what is our not physical dimension is. Where we got information about this? So the secret from a big picture in philosophy is the following. God created us. Human being is the most complicated machine ever. Even physical. You know, just people think or people research the brain. The brain is the limb called brain, right? And we know that what we know is just drop in the sea. It's not just the brain, the entire thing. And here we're talking about the physical part. The most amazing is the spiritual and the interaction of both, the body and the soul. Because human being is not a simple creature, it's a very complicated creature. God, who created us, gave us instructions how to operate the system in the right way. So if you will separate them just for the analysis, the physical says King Solomon in the Bible wrote for us he was very kind. He wrote for us 3 books in the Bible. One of them is Sefer Kohelet. I don't know how to say it in English. I tried, I learned, I repeat it, I always forget it. How do you call Kohelet in English? Something class, so whatever it is. Kohelet, right. Kohelet. So Kohelet, Shlomo Melech, King Solomon, which was the wise person ever, Hashem gave him wisdom that he never gave to anyone before or after him. So he wrote in Sefer Kohelet the following. He said, Motar Adam min behema ayin. If you,
That's how I told you.
If you take an animal, any animal that you choose, you like dogs, cats, cows, whatever, and put them next to a human being. Said King Solomon, there is no difference, no major difference, no benefit, it's not highest. The human being is not more than the animal. And you look at it and you say, really? Really? And who said that? King Solomon? We are intelligent creatures. At least we should be. And the animals, less intelligent than us. It's an obvious difference, right? And Shlomo Melech ignored it and he said it's the same. And he was not just intelligent, he was in the top of this gift. So he looked at himself, he looked at the cat and say, it's the same? The meaning of this, Shlomo Melech speaks about the common denominator. And there is a common denominator between us and animals. What is this? The physical dimension. We have a body, they have a body. Many of the needs of the animals are our needs too, right? The needs to eat, to drink, to sleep, to be in the right temperature. It's common between us and the animals. So, about this he said, there is no benefit for a human being over the animal. But if you try to make a list of the needs, the human needs, you could find that aside from the need to eat, drink, sleep, whatever, etc., all the physical, we have exclusive needs that only we have, that only we need, like meaning, like truth, faithfulness, other stuff like this. Those needs, we have a justification to call those needs human needs. Because the other, when we, the one that we share with the animals is not in us because we are human, but because we are part of the living creature in the universe. So it's not human. The human is only the exclusive human needs. Where are they coming from? And those needs, human needs, sometimes ask you or cause you a conflict between your physical to your non-physical needs. A dilemma. The human dilemma is between a physical need, obvious physical need. Let me give you an example. I'm hungry. Lion could be hungry too, right? What does a lion do when he's hungry? You just hunt, kill, eat. What a human being do when they're hungry? They also need to eat. But they have some problem to kill in order to eat. It's called moral, right? And I want to talk about the vegetarians. Okay? Even vegetarians who are moral, vegetarian because they're moral, they're not looking at the other people who are not vegetarians like killers, murderers. They're not comparing a person who killed a cow to a person who killed a human being, right? So you find a conflict inside you between your needs, the physical needs. You know, lions has no problem of moral. You just see a nice a lamb, good dinner, why not? So he kill it, and he never think about, you know what, she is a mother of 7 little lambs. They gonna grow up without a mommy. You know, there will be a whole psychological scar in their life just because I am hungry. No lion do such calculations. Human being might do such calculation. And here's the conflict between my physical needs to my spiritual needs, or my other needs. Where are they coming from? From the soul. From the non-physical dimension in me. So I have to learn what the essence of this non-physical dimension in order to relate to it and operate it in harmony with the physical. And this is the art of life. If you will do that, there is a chance that you will be happy. If you will ignore it or just not relate to it, you could do whatever to be happy, but you will feel that something is missing. See, in our society, the Western society, we have today so much that former generations never had. Every kid today actually has, average kid, what only prince or kings has maybe 300 years ago. Every kid, everything is available. I'm talking about the average. The average person could get whatever they need physically. It should bring to the result that people in this generation should be more happy than the former generation, is it? How come psychiatrists and psychologists are so busy? And who are their clientele? usually the rich people in the society that have no problem to fulfill any crazy physical idea that they could think of. So how come they're not happy? How come they feel empty? How come they running away from life to drugs, to commit suicide? The numbers of the percentage of people who commit suicide in the high society is crazy. Is higher than the usual. Why? Because something's missing. What's missing? A human being is a body and a soul. It's a physical and a spiritual. This is it. You could not deny it. If you operate only half of the system, you're causing people to be unhealthy. Because the other side is the other dimension is there, and the more you give to the other, you got jealous. The other side, right? Well, I'm getting nothing. So you have to find the right balance between those two, in order to fulfill the entire system. And this is the Torah. The Torah are instructions how to take. Now look at how it works. What is the mitzvahs? The mitzvah. What is a mitzvah? I'm taking a cup of water, cup of coffee, cup of water. I'm drinking. To drink is a physical need, right? I could drink like the animals do. The animals do. But imagine that before I drink water, simple thing, I say one sentence, very amazing and deep. People who do it do not really pay attention to what they say. People who do not do it, if they will learn, listen, I'm just saying it. ברוך אתה, השם אלוקינו מלך העולם, שהכל נהיה בדברו. No, אני לא אמרתי את שם. I just said the bracha before. I'm just giving it as an example. Let's analyze what we say and why we say that. We blessing God, ברוך אתה השם, bless you God, שהכל נהיה בדברו. That everything, the entire universe, every little thing in the universe was because he said and he created it. Okay, this is a philosophical statement. Every time I drink water, I become a philosopher. See what you do over here? You take physical thing and remind yourself the purpose of it. Why I'm drinking? Because I'm thirsty. Why I'm thirsty? And because I'm thirsty, I feel the urge to drink. Why? Because I want to live. Why I want to live? What is the purpose of life? So no, come on, we're not going that deep, right? We're just eating, drinking. So you could easily live your entire life doing the technical thing, not looking about the big picture. Judaism teach you to think every moment about the real purpose, even when you drink water. Now, your choice is to drink like the cats drink. They do not think, they do not even understand why they need to drink. They just feel the urge and they do it, and that's it. And I'm giving it as an example. All physical needs is the same. But if you're a human being, there is a demand. You know, when you got the ability to think, it's not just a gift. It's an obligation. You got ability to think, use it. So you have to think every moment. Not just when you have crisis or something. What's the purpose of life? Why? Who needs to be here? Why are we suffering 70, 80, 90 years and then going back to the ground? What we were here for? Just to enjoy a little bit here, a little bit there, that's it? What's the purpose of life? So every little thing that you do in physical, don't ever leave it in the physical bubble, but think about the purpose of it. And this is the entire idea of all the mitzvahs all the mitzvot are, in Hebrew, the word mitzvah could be written this way. Mem, tzadi, double vav, vav, hey. Okay, mitzvah. If you separate the first letter from the rest of the word, you'll get a word by itself in Hebrew. Mitzvot. You know, make some distance between the mem to the rest. You got the word tzevet. What is tzevet? Tzevet is team, together. What is the team? The team is the body and the soul. The team is me and my creator. And this is the mitzvah. The mitzvah is to take every physical, don't leave it in the bubble of the physical, and try to think about its purpose. And then you live your life with the intention, you managing your life as someone who is above the physical. You connected the physical with the non-physical. The Jewish nation is the only nation, as I mentioned before, that God, we say it, and some people has problem with this. You know, before we read the Torah, we say bracha, right? Everyone who read the Torah will say a blessing. What is the blessing? Baruch atah Hashem Elokeinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim. He chose us from all the nations, and He gave us His Torah. ונתן לנו את האות. We are lucky. We are privileged. We are as a nation. We are the nation that the creator of the universe gave us the instructions from all the nations, and the nations know that. He gave us, and that's why they appreciate us. Unfortunately, many more than we appreciate ourselves. We are the chosen people. They will say it to you, but many Jews have a hard time to say to themselves, I don't want to be chosen, I want to be regular. Well, right? Many people will think so. Why are we blessing God for this? Why it's such a great privilege? Because He gave us instructions how to fulfill our entire potential, body and soul. And He instructs us that don't ever do things separate from the spiritual meaning of it. And that's the entire mitzvahs. You do physical things, like everyone else. But asher kideshanu b'mitzvotav, you sanctify the physical and make it in higher place. And here we come to the issue that I want to talk about, connected to Chodesh Adar. Remember what happened in Adar? Haman wanted to kill us. He's not alone. We're going to say it exactly 1 month after we will read the Megillah. We'll have Leila Seder, when we read the Haggadah. And in the Haggadah there is a famous, I think when I'll quote it, everyone will know what I'm talking about. There is paragraph, והיא שעמדה לאבותינו ולנו. שלא אחד בלבד עמד עלינו לכלותנו. It's not just Haman or Paro. אלא שבכל דור ודור, in every generation, there is a Haman of today, the Amalek of today, the Paro of today, who wants to kill us. And the question is, why? What there is in us that draw fire? And you could see it, it's amazing. Jews saying it every year in Pesach, in Leila Seder, for 3,300 years. And how relevant it is to every generation. We have to know, when we wake up in the morning, somehow, somewhere in the world, there are at least one, probably many, people who wake up and think to themselves, how are we going to get rid of the Jews? Every day, every generation. Why? Why? wrong that people wants to just eliminate us. It's again, Haman, Amalek, Hitler. Today you have many also that they wake up in the morning, they think, how are we going to get rid of the Jews? And I'm sorry that I don't have to be nice. I mean, according to the norms, I should be nice, but I'm not, because I'm Israeli. So I say what I think without playing being nice. Even Christians who will agree that we are the chosen people, right? We brought the world the 10 Commandments. They do not deny it. We are the chosen people. So how come during the 2,000 years of Christianity, not today, not in America, at least not in public, how come they hated us so much? Crusades, Inquisition, and if you just analyze, they gave the fuel to anti-Semitism during 2,000 years, wherever. And they blame us that we killed God, their God, which is one of us. What do you want? They took a Jew and make him God. Right, and he doesn't know even about it. But anyways, they blame us for this, and they killed us. They killed us. You have to know, Hitler, Yimach Shemo v'Zichrono, the Nazis, they were not religious. They were not religious. But they could not get the cooperation with all the nations in Europe, Poles, Hungarians, Ukrainians. They could not get this help without 2,000 years of brainwash that the Jews are the source of all the evil. And who made this? And who spread this? Christianity, the church. So it's funny. In a way, we are the chosen people. So if you are the chosen people, they should respect us. But from the other side, they hate us. What is it?
Jealousy.
Let me tell you what is it. Actually, we're discussing now what the source of anti-Semitism. Because that was the background of Purim. And not just Purim. We have to understand it in every generation because it's relevant to every generation. What is the cause of anti-Semitism? Many Jews today have no idea. They got angry because, you know what? Many Jews, unfortunately, are disconnected from Torah. Because of many reasons. But they're disconnected. And yet, they are the target of anti-Semitism. And they do not understand. If a Jew looks like a Jew, meaning dress like a Jew, eat like a Jew, disconnect himself from the rest of the society like the Jews used to be. They were in the ghetto. So we could understand why people not like them. But so many Jews today are more goyim than the goyim. They dress like a goyim. They think like a goyim. They sing like a goyim. They think like the rest of the nation. So those Jews really do not understand why they still be hated. It doesn't matter what you're going to be. What are you going to do? If you're Democrat, if you're Republican, it always, there is a reason that no one understands why they hate the Jews. And here's the secret. Here's the reason. They hate us not because of what each one individually look or act, but because of what we represent. What we represent, we are the nations of God. So why it's bother? Why it's a bother? Because in the Word of God, this word is a word of meaning, of purpose. And if there is a creator who created the world, the entire universe, he did it for a reason. And if he did it for a reason, there are certain ways that you have to behave in order to fit. And he got us the instructions, the 10 Commandments and the entire Torah. And this is the thing that bothers them. Why? Because everyone will agree, of course you need values in general. But because it's obligating, it's a problem. I always give this example in order to make it clear. Imagine the best student in the classroom. Who likes him? The teachers. He will get prizes, right? Who hates them? His friends, his fellow students. Why? Because the teachers tell them, if he could do it, you could do it too. And I don't want to do it. That's why I hated it. Or the best soldier in the unit. He gets prizes, right? He got honored. Who hates him? His fellow soldiers. Because the commander will say, he could do it, you could do it too. That's a problem. We brought the Torah to the world. So from one hand, wow, you're the great nation, you're the chosen people, you brought the Torah, you brought the 10 Commandments. But from the other side, but we want to do whatever we want to do, and that obligated us and limited us. Subconsciously, that's the cause of the hatred. Now, there is a power, and here let's go a little bit higher. I'll bring you some information from the Kabbalah to really deeply understand it. When Hashem created the world, when God created the world, He created the world in order to create a human being. That was the purpose. The entire universe is just a field. The main player is a human being. Now I'm talking about the Adam Arishon, Adam. Okay? When he created him, it says in Genesis, in the beginning, Sefer Bereshit, before Hashem created Adam, he said, "Na'aseh Adam b'tzalmeinu kidmutenu." After he created everything, Adam was the last one to be created. And God says, I want now to create Adam. Only him will be in my image. Why? Because I'm not going to create another creature. I want to create someone who will run and manage the entire universe that I created. The words of the verse in the Torah, נעשה אדם בצלמנו כדמותנו וירדו בדגת הים ובעוף השמיים ובבהמה ובכל הארץ. Yirdu meaning they will rule. They will run it. So God, before He created Adam, He said, I'm not going to create another creature. I want to create someone that will be my partner. I created everything. I want a manager to run this, to run it. Therefore, he should be exclusive. Man is the only creature who has a combination of a body and a soul. God created all the creatures. Some of them are physical, some of them are spiritual. The only one who combined both is a human being. The reason is that now, He said, I'll create man in my image. What is my image? God doesn't have any physical image, because physical is limited by time and space, and God is almighty, meaning He's not limited, meaning that He's not a body. And if you remember, Yigdal Elokim Chai, Eino guf velo dmut haguf. He doesn't have a body. So what do you mean that He created man in His image? His image is not a physical image. What is image? When you look at the mirror, here you have a nice mirror, you know, it's double the number of the people who are in the room when you look there. It's very clear and clean, so you have the illusion that they are...
That's the image.
Right. When you look at your reflection in the mirror, if the mirror is really clear, you'll think that your twin is there. Right? But actually there is original and just a reflection of the original. Image of God is a reflection of the original. And the original, God, is the creator. So when he creates man, he created him as a creator. We are not just creatures. We are in the image of God, meaning we are creators. What do you mean? What do you have to create? God created everything. Nothing left to create. It's true, but not. God created everything, but he created you and gave you room to create something that only you could do. Only you could create. You know what is this? Yourself. So he give you a body, he give you a soul. Those are the tools. Now work with it. And whatever you will make out of it, this is you. You're going to create yourself. You are your decisions. How do you manage those two? Now, to create or to manage, meaning to have choice. This is the meaning of free will, free choice. In order for choice to be the possibility of choice, you need at least two sides, right? Because if you have only one way to do, there's no choice between what and what. Therefore, says the Kabbalah, when God created the world, he created the evil. Sounds need explanation, right? Let me quote you a verse from Isaiah, from Yeshayahu Navi. He says the following. You know some of it because it's in the Siddur, in the Tefillah, in the prayer that we say in the morning. But actually, in the Siddur, in the prayer, it's with one word change from the original, which is in Isaiah. The pasuk in Isaiah says the following. He's speaking about Hashem, God, when he created the world, and he says the following. What actually happened when God created the world? Yotzer or uvore choshech, oseh shalom uvore ra. This is the words in the original verse. Again, Yotzer or is a light. Yotzer or, Hashem created the light, or actually Yotzer is not, Yotzer, the exact translation, it's very hard to translate. Because it's not in all languages the same translation. Yotzer is frame. Milashon tzura. It's a frame. He formed the light. Yotzer or, he formed the light. Uvore choshech, and he created darkness. This is the verse, I'm translating it. Okay? Yotzer or uvore choshech, he formed the light and created darkness. Oseh shalom, he did peace or completion. Uvore ra, and he created evil. In the Siddur, we sang in the praying, Yotzer or uvore choshech, oseh shalom uvore et hakol, and he created everything. But in the original, in the verse of the prophet Isaiah, it's oseh shalom uvore ra. Now let's explain this, and I hope you have some. It's not too heavy. It's not too boring. So let's analyze the words. In Hebrew, every word has meaning, and there is a difference between Yotzer, Boreh, and Oseh. There are three words, different meanings. Yotzer is forming. Boreh is creating. Oseh is make. Okay? Now, what's the difference between forming to creating? Forming is always something from something. When a carpenter made a table out of wood, he's not creating the table, he's forming the table. He took something that was exist before, the wood. You just give it a frame, a form, right? So forming is yesh mi yesh, is to take something and frame it, form it in certain way. Which means, if we go to the verse, Yotzer or, what is or? Or is light. About the or, it doesn't say create. It says forming, meaning it was a light before, and God now frame it, form it, to fit the creation that you want to do. But it's a yesh mi yesh. It's a something from something that was before. Boreh is something from nothing. Something from, this is Boreh. Now, if I repeat again the verse, you will see. About the light, it says, Yotzer Or. About the darkness, it says, Boreh Choshech. Then it says, Oseh Shalom, he make completion or harmony or whatever. And then, Uvoreh Ra. Twice in this verse, the word Boreh mentioned. And Boreh is something from nothing. And both of them are negative. He created darkness, which is the opposite of light. And he created evil, which is the opposite of good. That means that when God created the world, he created the evil. He created the negative, created. Why? The positive was before. The positive is God himself. So you do not have to create the positive is eternal. It was before the creation, it was in, while the creation and after. But what was actually created? The negative. Why God created the negative? In order for the free will to be to be possible. Because we said that free will is between two things. The positive, the good, you do not have to create, it's there. You have to create in order to make the free will, you have to create the other side of the positive, which is the negative. And this is the name in the Kabbalah of evil, the other side. The Sitra Achra, the other side. So when God created the world, he created actually the new thing that was not there before is the negative. And why God created negative? Let me tell you what the Ramchal, which is one of the great scholars and Mekubalim and philosopher, lives about 300 years ago. One sentence, is very deep sentence. He says the following: Lo nivra hara ba'olam. There is no reason for the evil to exist in the world. Ela kedei sheyishleluhu bnei ha'adam. Only for human beings to deny it. This is the reason that evil was created. In order for human beings to deny it. Why? Well, why it's so significant? You look at the world today, you will say, if God is so good, how come there are so much evil in the world? How come? Right? It's a big question. The answer is, evil was created in order to deny it. Which means, if God will want that everything will be good, including human beings, he could do very simple things. Not create the evil, when he created the world, not create the negativity, not create the evil, create only good, and create human beings, and every human being will be good. It seems good, right? But it will miss the purpose of the creation. Listen to this, another big sentence. God did not want to create good people. He wants to create people who will want to be good. Do you understand it? God wants us to create ourselves. If it was only good in the world, then God will create the world, including people, everyone will be good. But they will not be human. They will be robots. What's the difference between a robot and a human being? Robots he pre-programmed. He doesn't have a conscience. He doesn't have any free choice. He programmed. God wants us to create ourselves. For doing this, he has to create the negativity, put you in the middle. Now you choose what do you want to be. Therefore, it was a necessity to create the negativity. What for? For us to deny it. Now this big thing is called negativity, which is, as I said in the Kabbalah, it's called Sitra Achra in Aramaic, the other side. He is very powerful. This source, this power, is very, very powerful. And you see first of all, in the first time, that any human being, which is the first couple, Adam and Chava, has to make their first decision as a freewheelers, he won. He won. He was the rider of the snake, of the serpent. And he came to them and he said, even though God said, don't, I'm telling you, yes, do it. And they did. See how powerful he was? And they just draw the path of where the human race is going. And it's not good. It was not good. For 20 generations from Adam, they continue in this path, doing not what's right, but what the other side convinced them to do. Until Avraham Avinu was born. When Avraham Avinu was born, he was the first one who tried to change the direction of where the human race is going. And Adam says, okay, you got telling me this, the snake or the serpent told me the other thing, let me think, you give me free will, right? Okay? So I'm choosing not to listen to you. That's what Adam did. 20 generations after him, one of his descendants, Avram, was born and raised in a society that denied God, and he discovered the truth and went for it, not just for himself, because was righteous people before Avraham Avinu. Noah was a righteous in the world. What was the difference? Why Avraham Avinu was so special? Because he didn't want to live his life in the right way. He wanted to change the entire world. He went and convinced people that the entire philosophy that's so popular today is wrong. This is the truth. From Avraham came the nation that Hashem promised him. I'm going to make a great nation out of you. And we were the nation that was standing there in Sinai when God offered us the Torah and said we're accepting it. Yes, we're going in the idea of Avraham Avinu. What do you think the evil thought about Avraham Avinu and about the Jewish people? They're going to ruin all his success if they will, right? He grabbed the entire world, everyone in his side. Now come this Avraham and try to make Chochmas. Try to take away the monopoly from him and bring it back to God. He didn't like him. He didn't like him. And later on, he didn't like the nation. Now we have not one person, a whole nation. This is the source of anti-Semitism. The conflict between the good and the evil. And that's what play behind the scenes. And if you understand it, you can understand the history in the right way. What's going on? And so far it seems that they got the power. This other side has the power. How many Jews are in the world? In numbers. And how many out of those few, we're talking about maybe 14 million Jews today in the entire world. How many of those, you know how much is it in percentage? We're talking about the population of the world today is over 7 billion. 1% of 7 billion, 1% is 17 million. All the Jews all over the globe today are maybe 14 million, which is 1/4 approximately of 1%. Out of this 14 million, how many Jews know what Judaism is all about and live Jewish life? Meaning with the Jewish values, with no play, really keep Shabbat, really keep kosher, really learn Torah, really run their life according to what God wants. Out of the 40 million all over the globe today, maybe 2 million are keeping Shabbat. 2 million. So it seems that The other side won. Look what's going to happen. And it's not one day or 1 year. We're talking about since the creation until today. We always were the minority. We always were not popular. Right? So it seems not too good. But it's all going to change. When Mashiach will come, then they will realize that even though they were the vast majority, this little nation that everyone used to hate, they were the one who hold the truth. That's the big revolution that's going to happen when the history going to go closer to its end. Before it, the truth will be revealed. This power has different manifestation. This Sitra Achar. Again, what the Kabbalah teaches, and I'll just try to conclude with this. The Kabbalah taught us the following, that the number of the nations in the world are 70. Actually 71 with us. But there are 70 nations in the world, only 70. Even though if you go to the United Nations, you will get more numbers. It's more than 70 nations that represent there. But actually there is only 70. Let me just give you in brief why the Torah said that. If you go to chapter 11 in Genesis, you know what in it? It's Parashat Noach. But I'm not talking about the Babel. After the Babel was a big event, which is the Tower of Babel. The Tower of Babel, right? If you open chapter 11 in Genesis, you'll find out that the first verse is Vayi kol haaretz safa achat udvarim achadim. They all speak the same language. When they start to build this project of Babylon Tower, and God didn't like it for reason that I could not go now into it, it's a whole shiur by itself, a whole lecture by itself, one day maybe. God didn't like what they wanted to do. So what did he do? He mixed their language. So at the end of the chapter, and this is the reason that Babel called Babel is mixed. Because God take this language and break it to how many languages? 70. Why 70? And before we got to this, I just give you something cute. You will all remember what I said this evening about the mixing the languages. You will, if anyone will ask you after this lecture, where is it in Genesis, in Sefer Bereshit, you will all remember it's chapter 11. Why? Because that was the chapter 11 of the human race. They lost the communication. Asher lo yishmu isfat re'u. Since then, people do not listen to what the other person said. Lo yishmu. That was the chapter 11, because language is a way to unify people. When God break the language, you could speak in the same language, but everyone will hear whatever they want to hear. You're not really communicating. That's the chapter 11. Okay. So, how do we know that it was broke? The original language, you have to know this, it's very interesting. The original language for 20 generations was Hebrew. That was the language that God created with its letters, the world. That is the language that he spoke with Abraham and with Noah. And it was mixed up at the Tower of Babel. To how many languages? 70. It's also written in the Torah. In the last book of the 5 books of Moses, in Deuteronomy, in Devarim, in Parashat Ha'azin, it says over there, let me quote a verse from there. Behanchel elyon goyim, behafrido bnei adam. When God separated people, which means at the time of the Tower of Babel, behafrido bnei adam, yatzev gvulot amim lemespar bnei Israel. He made the border between the nation. He created the nation in the number of bnei Israel, of the son of Israel. What number is this? 70. And we're talking about Israel, Yaakov Avinu. When Yaakov went to Egypt, he went with 70. B'shivim nefesh yaldu avotecha mitzrayma. So we have 70 nations that came out of the original language. 70 languages. Bilam was the prophet of the nations. Same way Moshe Rabbeinu was our Navi, Velo kam b'Yisrael naviot k'Moshe. Moshe was the prophet of the Jewish nation. In the other side, Hashem says, okay, let's give the Goyim also, the nations of the world also, give them a someone that will be parallel to Moshe, which is Bilam. Bilam was a hatred of the Jewish nation. He came to curse us. But God turned his words and told him, you are not going to say what you want to say. You're going to say what I put in your mouth. And he blessed the Jewish nation instead. It was not his words. It was the words that God gave and put in his mouth. Among the other things he says about the Jewish nation, Hen am levadad yishkon. This nation will be isolated. Uvagoyim lo yitchashav. He will not counted among the 70 nations of the world. And that means that we have 71. We are the one, they are the 70. And all 70s are not like us because of what we represent, as we said. The leader of all 70s is Amalek. Amalek is the one that leads the hatred toward the Jewish nation. He was the first nation that came to war with us right after we went out of Mitzrayim. From his descendants come Haman, Agag. Haman ben Amedat Agagi. Agag was a king of Amalek. And they want to kill us. What was Amalek? With this we will finish, right? Let me just skip a few things over here. Okay, look at this. The Torah commands us, and this is what we read right before Purim. The Shabbat before Purim is Shabbat Zachor. Zachor et asher asa lecha Amalek. You should remember what Amalek did to you. He wants to eliminate you even right after you went out of Mitzrayim. Asher karecha baderech. Says Rashi, in the name of the Midrash, Asher karecha leshon mikre. Karecha baderech. So the literal translation Asher karecha, that it happened that it met you during the way. Right? But in Hebrew, the word karecha also connected to the word called. He called you. Meaning called the opposite of hot. Okay? Asher karecha leshon mikre. And it's also mikre. Mikre meaning it's not on purpose, it just happened. It just happened. What are we talking about? We're talking about right after the split of the sea. The split of the sea was an amazing miracle. You know, imagine a whole nation going in a dry land where it was just a few minutes before water. They're going in the dry land. The entire nation passed. And then the Egyptians comes, and the water come over them, and they all drowned. Lo nishar b'hem ad echad. The entire Egyptian army. This event was such a miracle that has impact for generations after. 40 years after it happened, when Yoshua sent the spies to spy Jericho, Yericho, right? When they came in, the lady over there, Rachav, told them, everyone is shaking over here. Why? We heard, Shamanu asher hovish Hashem et mei Yam Suf mipnechem. We heard that God interfered in the nature in order to save you. So now when you come to the land of Canaan, we all shaking. We know that it will not be good for us. 40 years after. Amalek came 2 weeks after to attack the Jewish nation. It seems crazy. If 40 years after, people were shaking, how Amalek is not shaking? And we sang in Shirat Hayam, Az mivhalu alufei Edom, Elei Moav, Yochazeh Morad. Everyone was shaking, but Amalek is not shaking. What's going on? What's the story of Amalek? Asher karecha leshon mikre. What did he say? Don't get so impressed about what happened. It just by chance. It doesn't show that there is God. See, this is the method of the Sitra Achra. The entire idea of the other side is to make people disconnect from God. And anything that shows the power of God, and he's running the show over here, bothered the other side. And therefore he tried to diminish it. Don't take it seriously. It just happened. Asher karcha leshon mikre. And here's the Kabbalah teaching us that Amalek, the number of value, if you take the words, the letters of Amalek, Ayin is 70, Mem is 40, together is 110, Lamed is 30, 140, and Kuf is 100, 240. 240 is the number of Amalek, and this is the same numbers of the word Safek, which is doubt. Doubt. 60, 80, 100, together 240. This is it. And we have to know, we have a mitzvah every day to remember what Amalek did, and a mitzvah to limchot et zachar Amalek, to destroy Amalek. Where is Amalek today? We do not know. The nation of the world got mixed all together. We do not know who is from what nation. Only the Jews who are it's very important for them to marry each other in the nation. All the nations are mixed, right? So we do not know what Amalek is today. I have to know Amalek, the manifestation of Amalek is in a nation, but Amalek is an idea. It's not just a people, it's an idea. And the idea is the other side. And what the other side interest is? To disconnect the word from God, from the Creator. So, Amalek exists today in each one of us when we have doubts. And erase the doubts. Even though, I'm Jewish, I'm proud to be Jewish, I know the Torah is truth, but sometimes I hear something but who said maybe? Who said that there is a creator? Maybe it was a big bang and no God, and it happened just by chance. Who's talking? Amalek. And this Amalek could be in us. And this mitzvah is to destroy the Amalek that inside of us. And when we do this, we feel so happy. Why? Look at this. Now where is it? There is a verse. This is it. That's the last one. This verse is in Mishleu, another book of Shlomo HaMelech. From all this, let's read those 4 words. Me'or einayim yesamach lev. When your eyes are opened and some clarity is so clear to you, when you have doubts before, that brings the most amazing joy. Says the Metzudot, one of the commenters over there, En ba'olam simcha ke'atarat hasfekot. When you eat yourself, you have to decide. You do not know what to decide, to do this, about anything. It's eating you up. And you are not happy and you are bothered. If something came out and you have a clarity, and you have the thing that you were debating and has an inner conflict for many years, finally you have clarity and you know what is the real reality is. This happiness you cannot compare it to any joy in the world. And simcha ke'atarat hasfekot. That's why in Purim we have a mitzvah to be so happy. Why? Because Amalek was hanged. Haman, he seems that he has a decree and he has the power to kill the entire Jewish nation, and he has the sign, the signature of the king. What will stop him? So the Jews right before has doubts. Where's God? What? You really could do this? Where's God? And then when he turned it v'nahafachu, that he himself was hanged on the tree that he himself made for Mordechai, then it was such a clarity. He is God. Could you imagine the happiness? This is the happiness. So that's what we could say about this topic called Simcha. There is a lot more, but I feel that for today it's enough. So you have a lot to digest until the next time. So thank you for listening.